Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Part 2, gang, y'all, let's get it, y'all. Part 2, gang, y'all, let's get it. Let's go. I promise you, man, Unc was at that jump feeling good. Unc was like, yeah, I'm a businessman. Tell them they need to holler at me. They trying to do business. Tell them to holler at me. I'm like, man, look at you, man. He was like, look, yeah, you and the dude in the honor pod. Yeah, y'all the only ones that was safe through this whole jump right here, man. Yeah, see what I do? See what I do? I'm like, man, I appreciate you though, man. He was like, yeah, though, but no, all jokes aside. Look, if you know some good dudes over there, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we don't need that business out for everybody to know. So like, you gotta keep that jump. Some good dudes though, Weezy, man. But if you know some good dudes, you know, get with them, let them holler at me, man. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I'm gonna let you know, man. I'm gonna let you know, man. I got you, man. I got you, no problem, man. But I was like, I appreciate you again, Paul. I went back in the pod, you know what I mean? So when I went back in the pod, my roommate seen me, so I go into sales. He was like, you got it? I'm like, yeah. He was like, oh, for real? He took care of that? I was like, bro, listen, we can only use him when it's emergencies. You know what I mean? I was like, we can't just be panicking and think he gonna hold the phone overnight. Nah, it's still our responsibility. I was like, but when it's a situation that's an emergency, like a situation that just happened, I was like, I think that's what we gotta use. Bro, he was like, man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. I was like, yeah, and he talking about, he trying to be a businessman and like, he trying to get some more business, you know what I mean? I was like, he trying to get more people to deal with my man. So my roommate was like, you know, such and such and them phone got tore off. You know what I mean? I was like, I heard that. He was like, yeah, but look, he said, this is the crazy thing. He said, they about to get another one again today. I'm like, man, get out of here, man. Like, the phones used to be everywhere on Lawrenceville. I'm telling y'all, man, as long as you had the money, you can get the phone. The phone was up there. It was like, I used to hear the rumors about that, man, about how it's phones for sale everywhere. Like, coming from a place like Sussex 2, like where I only had a phone once, and that was a fluke. I'm telling y'all, the way I got that jump was a straight fluke. I didn't even think I supposed to have had it. You know what I mean? But on Lawrenceville, after hearing the stories from Sussex 2 about, yo, there's phones everywhere, like when you finally get up there and you actually like encounter like every sale you go into that you rock with somebody, man, they're on a cell phone. Like when you actually see that with your own eyes, and it's just a crazy situation, man. I'm talking about Lawrenceville was lit to the point where right before I had got up there, everybody was talking about how Steve Harvey was talking about Lawrenceville, man. Y'all already know Steve Harvey had a radio station, like his radio station be in Virginia, it'd be a lot of places, but he was actually talking about Lawrenceville one time, and I had heard this right before I got there. And like everybody was saying like how the cell phones was everywhere in that junk. Man, I'm telling you, man, these dudes just lost a phone. These dudes is about to get right back in action. You know why? Because there's phones everywhere, y'all. So boom. Somebody that got the phones for sale, they be happy hearing about how dudes' phones get tore off because they already know dudes got to spend more money. They got to come get another jack. So usually selling phones is a good way to make a lot of money in penitentiary. It's just a dangerous job because if you get caught with them joints, it's a street charge. You get sent up the compound, all the above, but you're making great money. You're making great money with this, man. So like, it's the gift and the curse, man. So like, it was, you know, even though they junk got tore off, it was good hearing that they was getting back in action. So one of the dudes, I ain't even gonna lie, I rock with one of them, man. We gonna call him P. Now the dude P, he was from up top, but his roommate was one of the dudes that was winning. You know what I mean? Now the dude P was a member. He was a member of the red team. Now me and him had a good rapport. We didn't talk as much, but we would do business. You know what I mean? Because his roommate was the one with the la-la, so I would usually go to P because me and him was all right, and I'd grab a la-la from him, and it'd be a good little situation. He used to hang with a lot of his little crew, but he still made sure his roommate and everybody else was straight too. So he pull up on me, you know what I mean? Like I ain't really wanna like put the business out there already, but when I had came out the sale, I let my roommate use the jack. So I had just came out and just standing on the tip. So their sale is all the way next to the handicap on the same side of where I'm at. So I see the dude P coming down, you know what I mean? Walking like, what's up, Weezy? P was kind of tall dude too. I give P like 6'2", had a little weight muscular to him, you know what I mean? Dark skinned dude, cool, up top dude from, you know what I mean, from NYC. So he pull up, he like, yo, Weezy, what's good? What's good? I'm like, yo, what's up? He was like, yo, I need a favor, son. I'm like, what's good? What you talking about? He was like, yo, look, we about to get a job, you know what I mean? He was like, but we gotta holler at the peoples to make sure they bring that junk tomorrow though. Like, so, like, for real though, bro, like, a lot of dudes in here, you know what I mean? But they told my mans and them off, so like, you the only one. He was like, you still got your joint? I ain't trying to be nosy or nothing. You still got your phone? So I'm like, yeah, I still got my phone, bro. He was like, for real, you beat him? I was like, bro, yeah, I beat him, man. He was like, that's what's up. He was like, look, man, please, bro, like, man, can me and my roommate use your jack, bro, just to make sure this play gets straight? He was like, if it gets straight, I'm gonna bless you with some lala. So I'm like, yeah, bro, you good now. I'm agreeing to do that because, like, you know, the dude P was a cool dude. He was a cool dude. Like, he ain't gonna lie. He ain't gonna do no BS to try to get over on me. He ain't on none of that type of time. But at the same time, though, like, I already know if he's asking to use the phone, it's for purpose. You know what I mean? It's not for just freaking trying to party or get freaking booed up with a woman. He's asking for it for a real situation. Like, these dudes is actually getting real paper at this particular moment. So I'm definitely gonna let him use it. So I'm like, yeah, bro. I was like, look, give me like 30 minutes though. I said, my roommate's shaking right now. I said, as soon as he finished, I'm gonna go let him know to play and I'm gonna bring it to your cell. He was like, all right, me and my roommate gonna be in there. I was like, all right, bet. I dapped him up, he slid, y'all, so boom. So I went back in the cell. My roommate was on the top bunk. I was like, yo, bro, hey, bro. He came flying the cut. He was like, what's up? I was like, hey, look. I was like, say where P just pulled up on me. He was like, P. I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, you talking about down there? Dude, I was like, yeah. He said, man, he said, the jack got tore off. He was like, they about to get another jack tomorrow. He was like, I told you. I was like, look. He say, he trying to use our chunk, bro, put the play together to make sure everything's straight. You know what I mean? He was like, he gonna bless us with a lala tomorrow. I told him, yeah, because, you know, I know dude ain't on no BS. My roommate was like, I'm cool with that. I was like, how much longer you gonna be? Because I was gonna go down there with them and let them use it. You know what I mean? So he was like, man, you get it now. I'm just talking to my baby mama. So he hung up with her, gave me the jack. So I was like, I'll be back. You know what I mean? So I went down the joint. So I go down there and knock on his door. I hear the music playing. He was like, oh, that's Weezy. Let me in. I come in the joint, walked in. I see his roommate. I call his roommate Nut. I see his roommate. I'm like, what's up, Nut? He was like, oh, what's up? I was like, what's going on, man? I was like, y'all look bad, man. He was like, man, done paid the dude downstairs to hold the phone, man. He was like, man, he done, man, got the phone tore off and got his other homeboy phone tore off. He was like, that jump crazy. I'm like, yeah, though, man. Y'all good, though, man. Y'all business, though, man. So I gave him the jump. So the dude, P was like, yo, I appreciate this too, man. I appreciate this too, though, man. But look, though, after we get straight, y'all gonna give us the secret of how you kept your phone Weezy, man, because phones be getting tore off, man. I'm like, shh. Hey, bro, listen, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. I got somebody that got a sweet stash box. And I was like, you know what? Like, for real, like, he cool. You know what I mean? Like, I rock with him and everything. You know what I mean? I was like, we gave it to him, and he want $50 to hold the joint. And I said, everything came out A-OK. Everything was straight. He was like, for real? And it ain't in this pod. I'm like, and it ain't in this pod. So dude, that was like, man, see? That's what we need. We don't need the phones in this pod when there's something like that going on. We got to get the phone out of this junk. So I'm like, yeah, bro. I was like, look, that's what I be doing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm dealing with him. Like, that was my first time dealing with him, but I was like, it's a good play, though. So he was like, all right, once we get straight, though, bro, like, see if you can make it happen for it. I was like, all right, that's what's up. So I was like, look, bro, I'm going to be back about 30. That's all y'all need? Or y'all need? He was like, no, come back in about 30 minutes. I'm like, all right. So I peeled out. You know what I mean? Went downstairs, started kicking it with my homeboy. You know what I mean? Down there chilling. I see my homeboy that's in 31. He's coming from somewhere, you know what I mean? But he about to go back into the junk. So he looking out pod from the window. He was like, he seen me. He was like, so I walk over to the junk. He's like, come out. So I come out. So I'm standing over there by the ice machine talking to him. He's like, hey, look, junk crazy, man. He was like, look, you know the dude P, man. He was like, man, you know the dude Paul, man, 32 Paul. I was like, yeah. He was like, man, you know, my homeboy let him hold the jack, bro, for the shakedown. Cause he said, you know, the members in our pod, the blue team, red team, acting crazy. I'm like, yeah, I heard. He was like, man, look, man, he got a sweet spot, man. He got a sweet spot. You better get with him. He charged $50. I was like, hey, bro, listen, that's who I gave my phone to. He was like, for real? I was like, yeah, bro. Yeah, man. He was like, man, dude, Paul, man, he did some good business, man. He was like, that junk was good business, man. Like, he brought that junk back. My man, I was praying and hoping, because, you know, he like, I vouched for Paul. I was like, nah, that play came back perfect, bro. I said, that was the perfect play. That was the ultimate perfect play, man. He was like, yeah, that's what I'm rocking with. He was like, man, for real, like, I ain't even gonna let a lot of people know, you know what I mean? But he was like, he keep telling me to bring more people. So he was like, I wonder what kind of spot he got. He said, you know, I be in the library, I be trying to be nosy, but I can't think of nothing. I was like, man, he probably just got the lady holding that joint. That's what I was thinking. I was like, Paul probably just get the joint and just let the lady hold the joint like in there or put it in her desk. Cause I'm like, yo, where did he be putting junks at? I was like, this junk crazy. I was like, he tried to explain it like he got it in a wall or some junk. He know how to get it out. He was like, that's what he told me too. I was like, man, for real, it don't even matter. I said, as long as that junk come back and get put back in our hands, that's the only thing that matter, bro. So boom. So me and bro talked for a little bit more. Then he went back in his pod, man. I went back in the cell. I went back in the pod. When I went back in the pod, I seen my roommate downstairs. He was like, look, he was like, yo, man, for real, for real. He was like, look, you can't put everybody on Paul though, man. He was like, I seen you out there hollering at you. I said, nah. I said, say word, my man. Just tell me that he dealing with Paul already. He was like, for real. I'm like, yes. My roommate was like, you think it's, it's good having a lot of people, 'cause a lot of people talk. I'm like, yeah, a lot of people do talk, but at the same time though, man, like, like we still, this is the best move. I was like, we're not dealing with this move when it's like every day. I said, we're dealing with this move only on emergencies and only on institutional shakedowns. You know what I mean? So like, this is how we doing it. So he was like, man, look, just be careful. You know what I mean? Because we gotta make sure our jump straight. At the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I was like, I'm about to go back and get the jump. So when I went back up there to all that P and them, they was done with the phone. He was like, everything's straight. Don't give me tomorrow. So fast forward a little bit, it took them a couple days. They finally get their phone. When they get their phone, they needed me to help them get their phone connected because they needed my phone to call their people to get a phone card, whatever the case. So that's how I really knew they had a phone. Back, you know what I mean? They got another flip. So they was in the game. They was in the game, man. So they feeling good about that. Everybody feeling good. The phones is back jumping in their joint. Because if he got a phone and the other dude that they rock with downstairs, they got a phone, like that opens up a lot of space for everybody else to use the phone because P was a red team member and his homeboy was from a city and like they looked out for a lot of people, you know what I mean? So it was like, I was happy that they had their phone because everybody was looking stressful because they didn't have no more phone. So everything is going smooth now. Everything is going good. Everybody doing what they supposed to be doing. Everybody chilling. So the whole time, me and Paul, only time I used to see Paul, I used to see him when we go to Child, sometime dinner or something like that because I wasn't going to the library as much. But when I would bump into him, he would always tell me like, hey, look, hey, look, the price is going up too. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, the price going up. He said, man. I was like, what you mean the price going up? I only went one time. He was like, yeah, but institutional lockdown about to come soon. I was like, when institutional lockdown? He was like, I don't know. They do it every quarter, but it's coming up soon. So I'm like, I forgot about that. I'm like, yo, that last joint wasn't even on institutional lock. That was some spirit of the moment game. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how much it going up? He was like, look, I'm trying to do $100. He was like, well, look, I want 75 from you though, because I rock with you though, Weezy. Man, I was like, man, that's crazy going up on me like that, man. Keep it at 50 for me, man. He was like, I can't do it, man. He was like, you know how many people I saved last time? He was like, man, listen, man, I need to be working in the ER because that's all I was doing, saving people. He stayed saying a dumb joke. I need to be working in the ER because I done saved a lot of people. I'm like, look, man, all right, $25 more though, man. I was like, that's crazy though, man. He was like, look, for the institutional lockdown, it's not. You know what I mean? So you can put that and whatever else. He was like, you got a knife? You want to put that in there? I was like, what? You can do that? He was like, man, look, man, I told you I got the spot, man. I got the spot. I'm like, nah, I ain't got no knife, man. You know what I mean? He was like, well, all right, I just want to let you know. It went up. He was like, so when you talk to the other dudes you was telling me about, I said, oh yeah. I said, look, they back straight too. I said, they joint got told. I said, but they back good. I said, look, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce y'all, put it together. He was like, all right, look, I'm coming outside tomorrow morning. So this was Friday, you know what I mean? So, he off on the weekend. So he was like, I'm coming outside tomorrow morning. So he was like, look, yeah, just go ahead and put it together. Cause institutional lockdown probably, soon next couple, 3 weeks or whatever. I'm like, all right, bet. So I went back in the pod. I had seen him do P. I'm like, yo, look. I said, man, institutional law. He was like, yeah, I heard. He was like, what's up with your man? I'm like, yo, look, I'm about to introduce y'all, man. I already told him to count, you know what I mean? I was like, but look, though, I said, man, on everything, I'm going to let him tell you to your front because, people be thinking that when a price get raised from when you told them something, like people be thinking you trying to get yours off the top or something like that. And I definitely wasn't, you know what I mean? Like I was the middleman in this, but I was just doing the middleman to introduce you, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I got to tell him it's another price now. I'm like, yo, look. The man said because of the shakedown, you know what I mean, about to happen soon, whatever the case. I was like, man, the man said he going up $50, man. So he was like, he want $1. He was like, $1, son? I'm like, yeah, he said he want $1, man. He was like, $1, man. He was like, man. He was like, yo, is that junk guaranteed though, son? I was like, bro, it's guaranteed, bro. It's guaranteed, bro. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm gonna pay that $1, even though it was gonna be a 75 game, y'all. So boom. I said, bro, I'm gonna pay that junk, man. I'm gonna pay it, bro. I'm gonna pay it, bro, because it's worth it. He was like, all right, where you at? I was like, yo, look. You know what I mean? He right there, bro. I was like, look, I'm about to, you know what I mean? Put this together for y'all can talk. And that's what it is. He was like, all right. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to introduce y'all. So I had called Paul. Yo, Paul. Paul walked over the jump, you know what I mean? Like, what's up? I'm like, hey, look, this dude right here is my man P, man. He was like, all right, what's up? Nice to meet you, man. He was like, all right, look, yeah, $100, man. You know what I mean? I got a spot in the library, good spot, everybody straight, you know what I mean? Everything will come out good, guaranteed. Dude from New York was like, P was like, guaranteed? He was like, yo, guaranteed. He was like, you sure? You positive? No, New York dudes talk, you sure? You positive? That's your good word? He was like, yeah, all that you said. Yeah, all that you said. I'm like, man, I'm saying though, like, we can't be taking no more losses. That's why I'm asking you though, like, I know Weezy vouched for you, but like, me and you meeting like this. So like, I'm just trying to make sure if I give you $100 that everything is good. Paul was like, yo, everything will be good, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Just get with me before we do institutional shakedown. I was like, all right. He was like, all right, that's what's up. He dapped Paul up and left. When Paul left, dude, P was like, yo, man, appreciate you, Weezy, man. Real talk, because for real, we ain't know what we was gonna do, bro. Like, it be so many things happening when you get these phones out. I know, bro. You know what I mean? But I was like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm gonna deal with him, bro. I'm gonna deal with him. P was like, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. So we went back in the pod. You know what I mean? So everything was normal. Everything was straight, man. You know what I mean? So fast forward to tape, man. Fast forward to tape game, man. It's probably like 4 weeks. This is probably like a month later. It's like a month later. The dudes that work in the kitchen, they are the ones that be the first ones to know that it's gonna be an institutional shakedown. You know what I mean? Like, they the first ones to know. Why? Because they can tell by the food that they bring in through on the truck. Just a bunch of different things. Maybe the ladies that work in there, all type of ways you can find out it's gonna be an institutional lot soon, man. Like, they see a bunch of stuff for bag lunches and all of that. Like, they already know it's about to be a shakedown. So they'll usually be the ones that usually come back and warn people about what's going on in that kitchen. Kitchen worker dude come back from work on a Thursday. You know what I mean? He come back from work on a Thursday. He like, yo, I don't know what they gonna do, but y'all better tighten up, because they somewhere after Monday. They talking about after the weekend, y'all might be on shakedown. They done brought the food on the truck, all of that. So everybody like, for real? Like, yeah, bro. He was like, yeah, he telling everybody. So I'm on the top tier listening to the joint. I'm like, for real. So I walk back in the cell, I tell my roommate, I was like, hey, look, they told me we might be able to come back out after the weekend, bro. So my roommate like, for real? He was like, yo, go holler at Paul. We can get on top of that tomorrow, bro. He was like, because tomorrow is his last day at work. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, bet. So I run over that joint. I holler at him. You know what I mean? I holler at him. He comes to the door. So I run over that joint, get somebody to holler. I guess I run over that joint, get somebody to call. Paul come back to the door. I'm like, hey, look, man, they told me we supposed to be going on shakedown. He was like, yeah, I heard that, man. He was like, look, get with me in the morning. Get with me in the morning, man. He was like, yo, tell your man he need to get with me in the morning too. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, look, I got my joint right now. He was like, all right, bet. So I slid my joint running. Once we hear that, it ain't no more. We use the wall phone after that. You got to be on point. This is the sacrifices you make when you have a cell phone. You trying to be all greedy and like, hold on, man, I got to call my wife and my girl. Let me make sure my kid. No. Everybody waits. Everybody waits, man. Everybody has to get sacrificed right now for you to be able to keep this phone. And these people that you just named want to continue having conversations with you. They got to learn how to be patient, because this is patient time right here. So we gave up our jump right then and there. That jump was up under the door. You know what I mean? So he got our jump. You know what I mean? So as soon as I leave that jump, I went down to P-Cell. Went to P-Cell, knocked on the door. He like, yo, he came out. I was like, he had some red team members in there. I was like, yo, let me holler at you right quick. So he stepped out. I was like, yo, hey, look. They said we supposed to be going on shakedown probably Monday, bro, for the institutional joint. You know what I mean? Kitchen worker dude just came back and said that we supposed to be done. You know what I mean? He was like, for real? I'm like, yeah. I was like, yo, look, I already gave Paul my junk. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know what you gonna do. He was like, yo, his last day gonna be tomorrow then, right? I was like, yeah. His last day gonna be Friday, and we going on lockdown Monday. You know what I mean? He was like, yo, man. He was like, all right, well, look, can you tell him I can give it to him Friday before he get off work? I'm like, I'm gonna see, bro. I'm gonna see him, holler. You know what I mean? He was like, all right. So I gave my joint up early, like I said. So I waited. I seen Paul that morning. When I seen Paul that morning, I said, yo, look, my man's was trying to do it. Paul was like, all right, make sure you get that money, Weezy. I was like, yo, I'm trying to get the money now. I'm gonna take care of the money. But I'm like, they trying to get it to you before you get off work. He was like, all right, it better just be before I get off work. Tell them I'm gonna come out. Like, I gotta get something from the building when they doing outside rec on Friday. Then I'm just gonna get it from them at 2 o'clock. So I'm like, all right. So I let them know the count. So, all right, that's what it is. So come back. I let bro and them know the count. So I went back. My roommate get the money. My roommate get the $75. So I tell bro and them, like, look. He said, man, y'all gotta be on point and have y'all money and everything. So bro was like, all right. People was like, cool. So they was on the yard. Everything that went smooth. But our joint already got put up. You know what I mean? So we was first when Friday came. So I was feeling good, like, yo, I'm in good hands. I needed a break from the cell phone anyway. So now everybody's just chilling because there ain't no cell phones in the joint. So whatchamacallit came and got the joints. You know what I mean? He did what he said. He came and got the joints. Everything went smooth. I seen P talking to Paul. They had a conversation. Like, he gave him the money. Everything went smooth. So now we just got to see if we won't come in. We just got to see if we coming back out or not. That's the whole thing. So now everybody was just in the cell. Saturday come. Everybody having a regular Saturday. Sunday come, having a regular Sunday, you know what I mean? Nighttime come for us to come back out after 6 o'clock. We all in the cell. I look at the clock, it's like 7:25. So everybody on the door, everybody like, yo, we coming back out. I hear the intercom, I hear different people hit the intercom, different people intercoms coming on. I'm like, the hell going on? So everybody, I'm asking roommate, I'm asking dude next door, hey, when we locked down? We was like, I don't know, man. So CO dude walked in, John, he was like, police coming in. He walked in, he was like, hey, ain't no Empire rep. Ain't no Empire rep. Ain't no more Empire rep today. Y'all on lockdown until next week.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart just to open your eyes up.